Hey everyone, welcome back to the Knowledge Hub. If you've been loving our 50 Amazing Facts series so far, you're in for a real treat. Today we're bringing you part 4, packed with even more mind-blowing and jaw-dropping facts from the worlds of science, nature, history, and beyond. Whether you're a trivia lover or just curious about the wonders of our planet, this video will definitely leave you amazed. Fact 1. The Northern Lights can produce sounds. Did you know that the stunning northern lights, also known as aurora borealis, can actually produce sounds? In 2016, researchers used specialized equipment to record faint crackling and hissing noises during intense auroral displays. These noises are typically very subtle, but during particularly vibrant and energetic displays, you might even be able to hear a faint buzz or crackle. This auditory phenomenon is still a topic of ongoing study, and it could change how we experience the beauty of the aurora in the future. Fact 2. Ants rest for about 8 minutes in a 12-hour period. Ants are incredibly industrious creatures, and despite their constant activity, they actually take short breaks throughout the day. In fact, ants rest for approximately 8 minutes during a 12-hour period. This means that ants work in short bursts, staying active for most of the day but taking quick naps when needed. It's a fascinating survival strategy that allows them to keep working without burning out. Imagine if we humans could function like that. Fact 3. New Year's baby odds. The odds of giving birth to a baby exactly at 12:01 a.m. on January 1st are about 1 in 526,000. While many parents hope for a New Year's baby, it's actually an incredibly rare occurrence. Hospitals often celebrate the first baby born each year, making it a fun and memorable milestone for both the child and their family. Fact 4. Australia is wider than the moon. Believe it or not, Australia is actually wider than the moon. The moon's diameter is about 3,474 kilometers, while Australia's width from east to west is roughly 4,000 kilometers. So, if you could lay the moon over Australia, it wouldn't quite stretch across the continent. Pretty mind-blowing, right? Fact 5. Female bats give birth while hanging upside down. Female bats give birth while hanging upside down, and what happens next is nothing short of incredible. As the baby bat, known as a pup, is born, gravity naturally pulls it downward, but the mother is ready. With amazing reflexes, she catches the tiny pup in her wings or the skin membrane of her tail, preventing it from falling to the ground. This remarkable instinct shows just how adapted bats are to their unique lifestyles. Fact 6. Bloodcurdling is more than just a saying. The term bloodcurdling isn't just a spooky expression, it has a basis in real science. Research has shown that watching horror movies can actually increase the levels of a blood-clotting protein called factor VIII in our bloodstream. This means that when you're terrified during a scary scene, your body might be preparing for potential injury, just like it would in a real-life danger scenario. So next time you feel your blood run cold during a horror flick, remember, it kind of is. Fact 7. Most vegetarians and vegans eventually go back to eating meat. According to a poll of 11,000 Americans, a surprising 84% of people who identified as vegetarians or vegans eventually returned to eating meat. The reasons vary, from social pressures and convenience to cravings and health concerns. This shows that while plant-based diets are popular, sticking to them long-term can be a real challenge for many people. Fact 8. Kjeragbolten, a boulder, suspended in time. The Kjeragbolten boulder, found wedged in a mountain crevasse on Norway's Kjerag Mountain, was left behind during the last ice age when retreating glaciers deposited it in its current position. Miraculously stuck between two cliffs over a 3,000-foot drop, this natural wonder has become a famous photo spot and a thrilling launch point for base jumpers from around the world. Fact 9. Lobsters have bladders in their heads. It might sound strange, but it's true. Lobsters have bladders located in their heads, just behind their eyes. Even more fascinating, they use these bladders to communicate. When lobsters want to establish dominance or attract a mate, they squirt out pheromone-laced urine from their bladders through nozzles near their faces. In the world of lobsters, communication really is all in the head. Fact 10. Camels have 3 eyelids to protect themselves from the blowing desert sand. Camels are perfectly adapted to life in the harsh desert environment, and one of their coolest features is their 3 eyelids. 2 of these eyelids have lashes to keep out sand, while the third is a thin, transparent membrane that acts like a windshield wiper. It allows camels to see while still protecting their eyes from the constant blowing desert sand. This clever design helps them survive sandstorms without missing a step. Nature really knew what it was doing. Fact 11. Minus 40 degrees Celsius is exactly the same as minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It might sound surprising, but minus 40 degrees Celsius is exactly the same as minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the one point where the 2 temperature scales intersect. Plug in negative 40 for Celsius, and you'll get negative 40 Fahrenheit. So, whether you're in Canada or the US, if it's minus 40, it's just freezing cold, no conversions needed. Fact 12. Chocolate is dangerous for dogs. Chocolate may be a sweet treat for humans, but for dogs it can be deadly. That's because it contains theobromine, a compound that dogs can't metabolize effectively. Even small amounts can cause symptoms like vomiting, diarrhea, rapid heart rate, seizures, and, in severe cases, even death. Dark chocolate and baking chocolate are especially dangerous due to their high theobromine content. Fact 13. A snail can sleep for 3 years. Believe it or not, some snails can sleep for up to 3 years. This happens when conditions are harsh, like extreme dryness or heat, and the snail goes into a state called hibernation or estivation to conserve energy and moisture. During this time, the snail seals itself inside its shell with a layer of mucus to stay protected. Once the environment becomes favorable again, it wakes up and resumes its slow-paced life. Fact 14. Lemons float while limes sink. Ever noticed how lemons float in water while limes usually sink? That's because lemons are slightly less dense than water, thanks to their thicker, more porous rinds filled with tiny air pockets. Limes, on the other hand, tend to be denser and heavier, with thinner skins and fewer air pockets, causing them to sink when placed in water. It's a fun and simple science trick that shows how density and buoyancy work. Fact 15. A strange Welsh tradition about baby nails. According to a 19th century Welsh tradition, cutting an infant's nails before the age of 6 months was believed to bring bad luck, specifically that the child would grow up to become a thief. Instead of using nail clippers or scissors, parents were advised to bite the baby's nails gently to avoid this supposed fate. While this may sound odd today, it reflects how folklore once shaped everyday parenting practices in fascinating and superstitious ways. Fact 16. Jenga bricks aren't identical. While Jenga blocks might look exactly the same, they actually have subtle differences in size and weight. These slight variations are intentional, making the game more unpredictable and challenging. The inconsistent dimensions cause the tower to be less stable, meaning no 2 games are ever quite the same. That's part of what makes Jenga so fun. It's not just about steady hands, but also about adapting to the quirks of each unique tower. Fact 17. A group of ferrets is called a business. It might sound like a corporate term, but it's true. A group of ferrets is called a business. This unusual collective noun dates back to Old English usage, where busyness described a group of animals. Over time, the spelling evolved into business. So next time you see a bunch of playful ferrets running around, just know you're witnessing a very busy business in action. Fact 18. Africa is the only continent with land in all 4 hemispheres. Africa holds a unique geographical distinction. It is the only continent that has land in all 4 hemispheres: northern, southern, eastern, and western. The equator cuts across the middle of the continent, placing parts of it in both the northern and southern hemispheres, while the prime meridian runs through West Africa, dividing the land into the eastern and western hemispheres. This makes Africa not just rich in culture and biodiversity, but also uniquely positioned on the globe. Fact 19. Cotton candy were invented by dentists. Believe it or not, cotton candy was co-invented by a dentist. In 1897, a dentist named Dr. William Morrison teamed up with a confectioner named John C. Wharton to create a machine that could melt sugar and spin it into fine strands, what we now know as cotton candy. They debuted their sugary invention at the 1904 World's Fair, where it was a huge hit. Ironically, the treat became a favorite among kids, even though it was invented by someone who worked to protect teeth. Fact 20. An avocado never ripens on the tree. Here's something fascinating about avocados. They don't ripen on the tree. That means farmers can leave them hanging on the tree for months without them spoiling. In fact, trees act like natural storage units, keeping the avocados fresh for up to 7 months. This gives farmers greater control over when to harvest, allowing them to better meet market demand. Once picked, the ripening process kicks in, and within a few days at room temperature, you've got a perfectly soft, ready-to-eat avocado. Fact 21. Chinese checkers isn't actually Chinese. Despite its name, Chinese checkers was not invented in China. In fact, it was created in Germany in 1892 under the name Stern Halma. It was a variation of the American game Halma, and the star-shaped board made it visually distinct. The name Chinese checkers was later adopted by American marketers in the 1920s to give the game a more exotic appeal, so while it may sound Eastern, its roots are purely European. Fact 22. A quiet trait of intelligence. One common habit of highly intelligent people is that they often get easily annoyed by those around them, but they usually choose to stay silent. Why? Because they know that reacting impulsively or starting a pointless argument won't solve anything. Instead, they prefer to preserve their peace of mind and avoid unnecessary conflict. It's not about bottling things up, it's about using emotional intelligence to pick their battles wisely. Fact 23. It would take you approximately 18 months to walk all the way along the Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China is one of the most iconic structures in the world, stretching over 5,000 miles across mountains, deserts, and grasslands. If you decided to walk its entire length, it would take you approximately 18 months. That's assuming you walk every single day without long breaks. The journey would be physically demanding, but also a once-in-a-lifetime adventure through history, culture, and some of the most stunning landscapes in China. Fact 24. At birth, a baby panda is smaller than a mouse. Believe it or not, a newborn panda is smaller than a mouse. While adult giant pandas can weigh over 200 pounds, their babies are born incredibly tiny, usually weighing just about 3 to 5 ounces. 85 to 140 grams. That's about the size of a stick of butter. These fragile little creatures are pink, hairless, and completely helpless, relying entirely on their mothers for warmth and protection. It's one of nature's most surprising size differences between parent and offspring. Fact 25. Iceland does not have a railway system. Unlike many other developed countries, Iceland does not have a public railway system. The country's rugged terrain, sparse population, and widespread use of cars have made building a railway network impractical. While there have been discussions and proposals over the years, especially for a line connecting the capital Reykjavik to the airport in Keflavik, none have come to fruition. Instead, Iceland relies heavily on well-maintained roads and domestic flights to connect its towns and cities. Fact 26. The devil's number on the roulette wheel. Here's a spooky little fact. If you add up all the numbers on a standard roulette wheel, from 1 to 36, the total comes out to 666. That's right, the so-called number of the beast from the Bible. While it's probably just a coincidence, this eerie total has led to some people calling roulette the devil's game. Whether you're superstitious or not, it definitely adds a mysterious twist to the casino floor. Fact 27. The unique muscle, your tongue. The tongue is truly one of the most fascinating muscles in the human body. It's often said to be the only muscle attached at just one end, which gives it a wide range of motion and flexibility. This unique attachment allows it to move in all directions, essential for speaking, eating, swallowing, and even expressing emotions. While it's technically made up of a group of muscles working together, its free end and anchored base make it a standout among the body's muscular system. Fact 28. Hawaiian pizza is a Canadian invention. Despite its tropical name, Hawaiian pizza didn't come from Hawaii at all. It was actually invented in Canada. In 1962, Sam Panopoulos, a Greek immigrant living in Ontario, decided to add pineapple to a traditional ham pizza just to see how it would taste. The sweet and savory combo caught on, and thus Hawaiian pizza was born. It's still a hot topic among pizza lovers. Some people love it, others strongly disagree with putting fruit on pizza. But one thing's for sure, this pineapple-topped pie has Canadian roots. Fact 29. Only 5% of the ocean has been explored. Even though oceans cover more than 70% of the Earth's surface, only about 5% of them have been explored and mapped in any detail. That means the vast majority of our planet's underwater world remains a mystery. Scientists believe there are countless undiscovered species, deep-sea ecosystems, and even ancient shipwrecks waiting to be found. The ocean's depth, darkness, and pressure make it incredibly difficult to explore. But with advancing technology, we're slowly uncovering its secrets. It's like Earth's own final frontier. Fact 30. St. Lucia is the only country in the world named after a woman. St. Lucia holds a unique place in the world. It is the only country named after a woman. The island nation in the Caribbean was named after St. Lucy of Syracuse, a Christian martyr from the 4th century. According to legend, French sailors were shipwrecked on the island on December 13th, the feast day of St. Lucy, and named the island in her honor. While many countries are named after men or male rulers, St. Lucia proudly stands out as a tribute to a woman in history. Fact 31. In Uganda, around 48% of the population is under 15 years of age. Uganda has one of the youngest populations globally, with around 48% of its people under the age of 15. This striking statistic reflects the country's high birth rate and growing population. With nearly half the population being children, Uganda faces both challenges and opportunities, from the pressure to provide education, healthcare, and jobs, to the potential of a vibrant, youthful workforce that could drive future economic growth. Fact 32. On average, men get bored of a shopping trip after 26 minutes. According to surveys, men get bored of shopping after just 26 minutes on average. In contrast, many women can shop for up to 2 hours before losing interest. Researchers believe this difference comes down to shopping styles. Men tend to shop with a purpose, wanting to get what they need and leave, while women are more likely to browse and explore. It's no wonder you'll often find men waiting outside stores or sitting on benches checking their phones. Fact 33. Recycling just one tin can save enough energy to watch television for 3 hours. Recycling just one tin can may seem like a small act, but it makes a huge difference. That single can saves enough energy to power a television for 3 whole hours. Imagine the impact if everyone recycled their cans regularly. We could conserve massive amounts of energy, reduce waste in landfills, and help the environment. It's a simple step with powerful results. Fact 34. Armadillos are bulletproof. Armadillos have a tough, leathery shell made of bone and keratin, and there have been rare cases where bullets have ricocheted off their armor. While it's true that their shell offers impressive protection, calling them bulletproof is a bit of an exaggeration, and definitely not something to test. Just admire these armored creatures for their unique defense system, and leave the science to the professionals. Fact 35. Acacia trees in Africa communicate with each other. Acacia trees in Africa have developed an incredible defense mechanism. They communicate with each other. When grazed by animals like giraffes, the trees release ethylene gas into the air. Nearby acacia trees detect this gas and respond by producing higher levels of tannin, a bitter chemical that deters animals from eating their leaves. It's a fascinating example of how plants can work together silently to survive and protect each other in the wild. Fact 36. The national flag with the most colors in it is Belize. The national flag of Belize, adopted in 1981, holds a unique distinction. It features the most colors of any national flag in the world, with a total of 12 different colors. The detailed design includes 2 men, tools, a tree, and a scroll, all symbolizing the country's history and industries. Its vibrant and intricate imagery makes it stand out among world flags, reflecting Belize's diverse culture and rich heritage. Fact 37. Squirrels cause approximately 10 to 20% of U.S. power outages. Believe it or not, squirrels are responsible for around 10 to 20% of power outages in the United States each year. These curious little creatures often chew through electrical wires or accidentally short-circuit transformers by climbing on power lines and equipment. While they're cute and harmless-looking, their mischief can disrupt electricity for thousands of homes. In fact, some utility companies even track squirrel-related outages separately, showing just how common the problem really is. Fact 38. 95% of people text things they could never say in person. Studies show that 95% of people admit to texting things they could never say in person. Whether it's confessing feelings, confronting someone, or speaking their mind, texting provides a sense of safety and distance. It allows people to express emotions and thoughts more freely without facing the immediate reactions or consequences of a face-to-face conversation. In a digital world, courage often comes in the form of typing instead of talking. Fact 39. There are a total of 1,710 steps in the Eiffel Tower. If you're feeling adventurous and want to skip the elevator, be prepared for a workout. The Eiffel Tower has a total of 1,710 steps. However, visitors are only allowed to climb up to the second floor, which involves around 674 steps. The full stairway all the way to the top is usually reserved for maintenance. So while most people take in the view from the lifts, some choose to earn it the hard way. One step at a time. Fact 40. Violin bows are commonly made from horsehair. Most traditional violin bows are strung with real horsehair. The hair typically comes from the tails of horses, often from colder climates like Mongolia or Siberia, where the strands are thicker and stronger. It takes around 150 to 200 individual hairs to string a single bow. The hair is coated with rosin, a type of tree sap, to help it grip the strings and create that beautiful sound. While synthetic options do exist today, many professional musicians still prefer genuine horsehair for its tone and feel. Fact 41. Standing around burns calories. It might surprise you, but just standing around burns calories. On average, a person who weighs around 150 pounds can burn approximately 114 calories per hour simply by standing and doing nothing at all. While it's not the same as hitting the gym, swapping some sitting time for standing can add up over the day. Over time, this small change can support better posture, improved circulation, and even weight management. So, standing meetings or a standing desk might be more beneficial than they seem. Fact 42. GPS isn't really free. It costs millions daily. Although we all enjoy using GPS for free on our phones, cars, and gadgets, it's not truly costless. In reality, it costs about $2 million every single day to operate the GPS system. This massive expense covers things like satellite maintenance, updates, monitoring stations, and personnel. Interestingly, the entire system is funded by U.S. taxpayers through American tax revenue. Fact 43. The color red doesn't really make bulls angry. Contrary to popular belief, the color red doesn't make bulls angry. In fact, bulls are color blind to red. What actually triggers their aggression is the movement of the matador's cape, not its color. The myth likely comes from traditional bullfighting, where the matador waves a red cape called a muleta. The red color is more for the audience's dramatic effect and to mask blood, not to provoke the bull. So it's not the shade, it's the shake that sets them off. Fact 44. Flossing your teeth might boost your memory. Believe it or not, flossing isn't just good for your teeth, it might also help your brain. Researchers have found that flossing can support memory function. How? Well, flossing helps prevent gum disease, and gum disease has been linked to inflammation and stiffening of blood vessels, including those that supply blood to the brain. Poor blood flow to the brain can lead to memory problems over time. Fact 45. A group of owls is called a parliament. When owls gather together, they're not just a group, they're called a parliament. This unique and elegant term is believed to come from folklore and literature, where owls were often seen as wise and noble creatures. The idea of a parliament of owls adds a mystical charm to these already fascinating birds. So next time you see more than one owl perched together, you can impress your friends by saying, "Look, a parliament of owls." Fact 46. The oldest country in the world. Egypt holds the title of being the oldest country in the world, with its origins dating back to around 3100 BCE. This was when King Menes is believed to have united Upper and Lower Egypt, forming the first dynasty and establishing one of the most advanced and powerful civilizations of the ancient world. From the construction of the pyramids to the development of writing systems, mathematics, and medicine, Egypt's legacy continues to amaze and influence the world thousands of years later. Fact 47. If you heat up a magnet, it will lose its magnetism. When you heat up a magnet, it can actually lose its magnetism. That's because high temperatures cause the atoms inside the magnet to move more rapidly and randomly, disrupting their aligned magnetic domains. Once the temperature crosses a certain point, called the Curie temperature, the magnet can no longer hold its magnetic properties. This is why magnets used in high-heat environments must be made from special materials designed to withstand the heat. Fact 48. 92% of the world's currency is digital. An incredible 92% of the world's currency is digital. That means most of the money we use every day doesn't exist as coins or bills. It exists only as numbers in a computer system. From online bank transfers and credit card payments to digital wallets and cryptocurrencies, physical cash makes up just a tiny fraction of global money. Fact 49. Tears tell you the reason for someone crying. According to some scientists, the eye your first tear falls from can reveal the reason behind your crying. If the first drop falls from your right eye, it's said to be a sign of joy or happiness. But if it comes from the left eye, it's believed to be caused by pain or sadness. While this isn't a hard scientific rule, it's a fascinating idea that our body might express different emotions in subtle ways, even through our tears. Fact 50. Russia is the most forested country in the world. Russia holds the title of the most forested country in the world, with an incredible 815 million hectares of forest land. That's nearly 1/5 of all the forest area on Earth. These vast forests play a crucial role in absorbing carbon dioxide, supporting biodiversity, and regulating the global climate. The Russian taiga, which stretches across Siberia, is the largest forest in the world and home to countless species of plants and animals. That's a wrap for part 4 of 50 amazing facts. If you enjoyed it, drop a like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for part 5 coming soon. Got a favorite fact? Let me know in the comments. Stay curious, and see you next time.